Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. Let me go and set up this room real quick and then we can get started. So let's see, 6:21. We got about 9 minutes till market open, so we do have some time. I'm just gonna get everything out of the way real quick so that we can just focus on our analysis of US 30. All right, let's see. Today's August 31st, last of the month. Yeah, it's starting to look like it. It looks like summer is basically over, starting to cool down over here. Let me go ahead and just save this real quick, get this loaded up. Let me get the link out for the premium members. That's set up right there. All right, I'm getting this link sent out to the premium members over here. All right, so it looks like we're good for the most part. Get this sent out over here as well. All right, cool. People are making their way in right now. I'll give it some time. 6:22. We get about 8 minutes till market open. Let me just get the YouTube set up too. I think today I'll send out the link for this. So let's see. All right, that looks good. Just let everybody into the room real quick. Let's see. Okay. Damn, I posted up a link for the YouTube in a while. So I gotta find the template for it. Okay, here we go. All right, looks good. All right, everything looks pretty much good for the most part. I'm gonna let everybody else into the room from the premium. All right, the Zoom's starting up right now. It's 6:23 right now. We got 7 minutes till market open. So let me go ahead and check out the charts real quick. We'll analyze US 30, see how everything's moving, and then we can get started. Hey, morning Active, morning Rista, morning Kushi, morning David, morning Essa, morning Steven, morning Quentin, morning Matt, morning Adrian, morning Clyde, morning Matthew, morning Taryn, morning Asdrubal, morning Steven. Steven said, is it safe to take the breakout entry in the next 7 minutes? Steven, if I take it, it's going to be safe. So just, we won't know until the market opens. So when the market opens, we'll know if it's going to be safe or not. I can't foretell the future. So you'll see when you see. The market opens in 6 minutes. So if I take it, then it's going to be safe. If I don't take it, then it's not going to be safe. But you got to make sure that you actually wait for the trade to be taken, right? Because Steven, I know you just hop into these trades and don't even think about it. And like, while everyone's winning, you're like taking a loss because you enter a trade before you even you wait for it to come up. So Steven, just make sure that you wait for it. I know you're impatient and you want to hop in the trade right away, but you got to be patient. I mean, you're never going to be successful at trading if you don't become patient. Patience is one of the biggest things that you need to focus on when you're entering these trades. So if I take the trade, Steven, then it's safe. If it's not safe, I mean, I'll let you know while I'm analyzing it. There's no guarantee it's going to be safe or not until we see it. Hey, Neptune, morning Kenny, morning Miles, morning Peter, morning Amira, morning Aaron, morning Christopher, morning Abraham, morning Maddie, morning Tim, morning Delmas, morning DL. Yes, Stephen. I mean, market sentiment doesn't have to be heavily in one side or the other, right? Market sentiment is now 64% short, now 63% short. This doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change our analysis for anything, right? This doesn't decide whether it's going to be a safe trade or not. What decides whether it's going to be a safe trade is whether there's going to be, some sort of bias here on the technical side that lines up with the fundamental side. Just because it's, right down the middle for the retail sentiment, it doesn't really make a difference. That's not going to choose whether we take the trade or not. So just keep that in mind. Morning, Brian. All right, let's see. Henry said, if the trend mirror is blue, do you hold off on the trade, even if you get a momentum signal? No, Henry, we never base anything off the trend meter. The trend meter is just an extra confirmation, but that's not really necessary for our analysis with the strategy. So the trend meter is never required. The trend meter is just always an extra confirmation. It's never an end all be all for our trade here. Morning, Rob. All right, guys. So looking over here on the 1 hour, price is below the pivots. The trend meter is blue, but it looks like it might be shifting from a bullish bias to a bearish bias. Looking over here on the 10-minute, price is below the pivots. The trend meter is red, so we have a bearish bias here. Going over to the 3-minute, price it was previously below the pivots. It's now swung up, and now it's coming right back down. So this has a bearish bias as well. Lastly, on the 1 minute over here, price was below the pivots right here at 5:30. It swung up in the last hour or so, and then now it's starting to come back down. So it's not all in one side. Once the market actually opens in the next 3 minutes, we can determine, which direction it's actually going to be pushing. But it looks like overall here, it looks pretty bearish, just for the reason that it's below the pivots on, pretty much all the other time frames. So we'll see what happens when the market opens here. But there's no confirmation that it's all bearish or it's strong bullish. It's kind of just, for the most part, it's bearish overall. But on the 1 minute over here, it hasn't really chosen a direction. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently bearish. It's 22 points in the red. Looking over here at retail sentiment, there's 63% of people short. It's not a strong bias, but it's still indicating that majority of retail traders are still short right now. So if this starts to shift to the upside, then the sell is going to be perfectly fine. Vice versa, it's not really going to make a difference until the market actually opens, because that's when we're going to determine, where the stock market's actually moving. So we'll see what happens when the market opens. Morning, Patrick. Morning, Kyle. Morning, Fahad. Morning, everybody. Market's opening in about 2 minutes. So we're looking for a possible sell here. In order for us to take that sell, price needs to close below these pivots, and we also need a strong red candle, something like this right here with little to no wick on the bottom side. So in the next 2 minutes, if we get that, we'll take a sell. If we get a buy signal and it's same for the opposite direction, then we might take that. But we're all going to base everything off the fundamentals. Christopher said, will the housing news push US 30 one way or the other? News in 28 minutes. Or news from 28 minutes ago. It can. There's no guarantee it'll push anything. These news events aren't always going to necessarily push price one way or the other. It can, but it's not going to be guaranteed. You can see right here that we have Chicago PMI at 645. So that should be enough time for us to get in and out of our breakout if that becomes the case. CV consumer confidence will likely affect the market at 7. So once we take a breakout, we're probably going to take a break and wait for the market to smoothen out before we take any other scalps. But for now, let me just turn on my alerts over here. And I think we should be good. All right, so market is opening in about 30 seconds. Once the market opens, we'll look at the fundamentals to confirm it, but it looks like it's going to be a sell. So we'll see what happens here. Hey, Bobby, morning. All right, cool. So market's opening in about 25 seconds. Once it opens, we can confirm the fundamental bias. If the fundamental bias is a sell, then we'll take a sell. If not, then we'll hold off and wait for a better confirmation. All right, market is opening in about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and the market's open. So let me go ahead and check out the fundamentals. You can see right here, price is going to start bouncing around pretty heavily. This is where volatility is going to start to pick up. You can see price spike up right here. It might reject off these lows over here, and then it just might come right back down even further. So we'll see what happens right here. Let me check out the fundamentals over here. Fundamentals are currently 27 points in the red. Not very far in the red, but it is still in the red. So bias is for a sell right now. We'll see what happens. So price might come up and then reject off here and come right back down. So we're still looking for a sell. But in order for us to take that sell, we need to have a strong red candle on open here. So this wouldn't qualify as an entry because it's a green candle. We need a red candle with little to no wick on the bottom side in order for us to take this. This candle is closing in about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to confirm the next candle. Let's see what happens here. Price is still bouncing around. We're still looking for a strong red candle. If we get a strong red candle, we can take this trade here. Refreshing this right here. It's starting to grow heavier. It's now 46 points in the red. The stock list over here is turning red. Market sentiment is still 64% short, which is not a big deal. But right here, we're looking for this candle to close red with little to no wick on the bottom side. If we get that, we can take this trade here. We have this candle closing in about 30 seconds. Let me just set this up just in case. I don't think we're going to take it right now, though. We got to wait for this candle right here to close. So, let's see. Yeah, no candle there yet. So we're looking for a strong red candle in order for us to take that trade. You can see price is just rejecting off these lows right here. This green line is the New York low. This purple line is the Asia low. And this red line right here is the London low. So no entry available yet. If we get a buy signal right here, then bias might be changing. As you can see here on the one hour, it's still below, but on the 10 minute, starting to push above, on the 3 minute as well, but it doesn't look very strong. So we're still looking for that strong red candle right here. We got about 40 seconds left on this. If it closes below here with a strong red candle with little to no wick on the bottom side, we'll take that sell. But currently right now, it's just respecting the lows over here. So we'll see what happens in the next few minutes or so. All right. So we got about 20 seconds left on this candle. If we don't get an entry in the next 3 minutes, then we're just gonna, we're not gonna take the breakout. Got my MC4 ready just in case. Let's see, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no entry. All right, it's no entry right here. Reason for that's because there's a huge wick on the bottom side right here. We need no wick down there. If we get no wick, and it's a strong red candle, then we can take the trade. However, it's respecting the lows right here. Obviously, you can see price comes up, rejects off the London low, comes up, respects the Asian low, comes right back up, respects the London low again. So we're still waiting for that confirmation. Once we get the confirmation, we can take a trade. But this is where patience comes in, Steven. So like earlier, I was telling you, there's no guarantee it's going to come down until it does, right? And here it's starting to come down. However, we're not going to take it yet. We need to confirm that it closes with little to no wick on the bottom side. If it closes with the big wick down there, then we're not going to take it, obviously, but that's what we're going to be waiting for. Let me just refresh this real quick. Still down 54 points, so it looks pretty solid, but it's kind of just going back and forth at this point. So we got about 5 seconds left on this candle. If there's a big wick down here, we're not going to take it. If it's a little wick, possibly take it. Big wick down there, no entry. All right, this is our last shot, guys. If we don't have an entry right here on this next candle, then we're going to skip the breakout. We're going to start looking for some scalps. However, we do have news coming up in about 10 minutes, so we're probably not going to take any more trades until after 7. But we'll see if there is a possible entry that comes up here. There is going to be news coming up, so this will be considered a risky trade if we do take this right here, because news is coming up in about 10 minutes. All right, we'll see what happens here. We need little to no wick on this bottom side. If we have that, we can take a trade there for a sell. Otherwise, we'll just be waiting for some scalps after market open, because we do have some news coming up in a while. So let's see. All right, 12 seconds here. Three, 2, 1, no entry. Okay, so no breakout anymore, guys. We'll be looking for a possible scalp entry, but that's probably going to take some time because we do have news coming up in about 10 minutes. So we got news right here coming up at 6:45 Chicago PMI, and we also have news at 7 for CD consumer confidence. So we'll see if we see anything here, but it doesn't look like we're really going to have anything. Obviously, you can see price isn't really moving. It's kind of just going sideways. Generally on open, there's a direction that becomes set, right? It usually goes one direction or the other. It either goes down or it goes up. However, today, no direction at all. So market open right here at 6:30. This line right here will signify the open. So obviously you can see right here, or let me use a horizontal line. So this is the open of market right here, 6:30. You can see from this point, price barely moved at all. Price came up slightly, about 280 pips. It came down slightly. about 120 pips. That's nothing, right? Generally, there needs to be a bigger push on market open, especially during a week like this, because it is NFP. Today's Tuesday, so NFP is usually it's slow until Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it'll pick up. So, you know, the market's been slow all week. It's probably gonna pick up by the end of today or by tomorrow, because we do have a lot of news tomorrow. So today we have some medium news. Tomorrow we have the high impact news. We have OPEC meetings all day. We have ADM non-farm employment change. We have ISM manufacturing PMI. Also Thursday we have the Fed speaking, Fed member Bostic. So we have more news coming up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is when the market's going to pick up. Today's still kind of slow. Yesterday was very slow, but we still made use of the market condition. So let's see. It's currently 6:36 right now. So we have news coming up in about 14 minutes. Once that news passes, we can start looking for some scalps. But I mean, currently right now, there's just nothing for us to look at this point. Here, let me go over here and check this real quick. Scroll up. Let's see. Okay, let me scroll over here real quick. Vincent's asking, which indicators do you have shown and not shown? These indicators right here on my chart, we have the momentum indicator right here. These are the vertical lines, the red and green vertical lines. These horizontal dotted lines right here are the K2 sessions high-low indicator. That's this one here, the new one that we just introduced. These red and orange lines right here are the K2 pivots, and this indicator down here is the K2 trend meter. So we got about 1, 2, 3, 4 indicators on the chart right now, Vincent. The momentum indicator, the K2 sessions high-low indicator, the K2 trend meter, and the K2 pivot. So those are the only ones that I have on right now. There's a couple other indicators that you can add if you want, which would be the K2SR. We don't have that on right now. It's not really necessary. It's just, you know, everything's an extra confirmation because certain strategies require certain indicators while other ones don't. So it just depends on which one you're using. But for the most part, these are the ones that I use for almost everything that I do when I trade, specifically when I scalp. Let me scroll down a little bit. Steven said, Shawn, I have a question. Is the 1 minute chart the one we always use for the breakout entry? Yeah, I use the 1 minute to determine the entry point, Steven. We use the 10-minute, we use the 1 hour, 10-minute, 3-minute, and 1 minute to confirm the technical bias. I mean, I also use the fundamental bias over here. I'm sure you've seen it, Steven, and the retail sentiment over here to determine. So I use a lot of different factors, but when I'm looking for the actual entry, I only use the 1 minute here. Yeah, Salarm said respecting the Asia and London lows. Exactly. Yeah. So right here, you guys can see price came down. It respected the London low right here and the Asia low, which is the red and purple line. And then again, right here, it respected the London low again, the second tab right there. So obviously you can see that price is, it's probably not going to break past this. What I can see happening is it just keeps testing this area right here. And then after the news passes, it's just going to drop. But the news might be positive. If the news is positive, it might just shoot up to fake people out, and then it'll come right back down. I mean, that's typical for news. That's why we don't really trade news, and we hold off. Another reason why I see it going sideways right here is because a lot of people just aren't trading, right? There's not enough liquidity in the market because a lot of people are holding off until this news event passes. Once the news passes, people hop into the market, and then liquidity will start to flow, and volatility will pick up. So also something to keep in mind. There's a lot of different factors that go into why the market's moving, why the market's not moving. Main's asking, are those low lines part of a new indicator? Yeah, man. Well, this indicator has been around for about a month now. It's the K2 sessions high-low indicator. Not sure if you've been following along, but this indicator we've been testing this for over a month now, and then it's become available to everyone for the past month, I believe. Vincent said, I don't see the TS1 on invite only. The TS1 is the same thing as the momentum indicator. It's just a different name. Like if you look at your indicators right here, TS just stands for trading system. So if you go to invite only, it says K2 Trades Proprietary Trading System. TS just means trading system. So if you click on that, if you have the old one, so this is the new one, K2 Momentum. It's the same thing. It's just the name was changed because people don't understand that this was the momentum indicator. We always refer to it as momentum, so I just changed to momentum. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Yeah, Abraham said zero volatility. Exactly. Market's just slow right now because a lot of people are waiting for the news to pass. News is going to happen in about 5 minutes, and then the next news event's coming in 15. So that's going to be what we're waiting for here. Yeah, Charlie said retail traders are starting to get out of the trades. It's at 63%. Yeah, I can see that. A lot of people are pulling out because the news is coming soon. A lot of people don't like to hold on to trades when news happens because it can spike one way or the other. So yeah, right here, good catch on that, Charlie. Charlie mentioned that retail traders are starting to pull out. And the reason we know that they're pulling out is because they're not getting stopped out, right? Earlier, it was like 67% short. Price didn't push it far enough to stop people out, right? It only pushed up like, X amount of pips. So instead of them just holding on to the position, they're just pulling out of the position and holding off until the news passes. So definitely, good job on identifying that, Charlie. So Dennis is asking, what are your settings for the trend meter? Mine doesn't look like yours. For my scalps, I set them all. It's the same as chart. So if you go down here, go to your settings. The default settings are the intraday settings, which is 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. If you're not trading intraday, then just set them to same as chart. And that's going to give you the current trend for the specific time frame, which would be the 1 minute here, since we're on the 1 minute chart. Let's see, anything else I'm missing? Felix is asking, I'm setting up a trade copier on Social Trader Tools, and I needed to double sizes on the slave account. Do you use lot size? Use a lot multiplier of 2? Yeah, exactly, Felix. You can do that, or you can use a fixed lot, whichever one you like to use. But I think the multiplier of 2 works perfectly fine. That's what I use on my accounts as well. All right, perfect. So Dennis got that fixed. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I can answer any questions that you guys have right now, because we do have a lot of news coming up in the next 3 minutes, and then we have another news event coming up in the next 15 minutes. So I'm probably not going to trade from now until then. Right now, it'd probably be a best time for me to answer any questions that you guys have. I'm going to put down the requirements for the strategies that I'm applying this morning so that you guys can follow along if you guys understand what we're doing here. This is going to be the K2 US 31-minute pivot scalp strategy. And you guys are familiar with this because we apply this every single morning. So this is going to be confirm a valid K2 momentum signal, or sorry, K2 momentum signal. 2, you want to confirm price is above pivots 3 and 4 for a buy, or below for a sell. Lastly, you can enter on the open of the following candle. TP stop loss is going to be 100 to 300. So that's going to be our strategy here off the 1 minute. Looking over here on the 3 minutes, the same thing. It's just on a different time frame. So same thing here. TP stop loss is going to be slightly different as well. And just a reminder, right, for these smaller time frames, it's going to be a negative risk reward, and the reason for that is because it has such a high win rate. We're able to take a higher risk on here. For the 10-minute, we're going to be using the K2 US 30 10-minute, or we'll do K2 10-minute, or whatever, it's the same thing. K2 US 30 10-minute snipe strategy. So for this, you want to confirm a wick rejection off K2, off any K2 pivot. 2, confirm a wick rejection off K2 SR zone. 3, confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot, does not touch candle body. And then lastly, you want to confirm direction of momentum using K2 momentum indicator. After that, you can enter on the open of the following candle, and then it's going to be a fixed TP stop loss, 500 pips. So this is going to be a 101 because it's on the 10 minutes, so we have a lot more space there, and a bigger move that we can possibly take. So yeah, it looks like we have an entry here on the 3 minute, but I'm not going to take it. I'll mark it up for you guys. The reason I'm not taking it is because we have news coming up right now, but I'll just mark it up for whoever wants to take it. Just keep in mind that this is a risky trade. So I'm not taking it. I'm just marking it up for you guys. If because I know some of you guys here are applying the strategies on your own, and this is just going to be a follow, like a little reminder if you guys are taking it. So this is going to be the 3-minute pivot full TP 250. Yeah, news just came out right now. It's 6:46 right now. So we just had that news event. Let's see if it was positive or negative. Chicago PMI was negative. All right, cool. So it's negative. That's why you see that drop right there. I'm not going to take the trade though, because we do have another news event coming up at 7. It's just not enough time in between for me to hop in and out of the trade there, making it a little too risky, right? So looking at this right here, or maybe I want to just catch the last of it. Kind of tempted to just hop in for the last of it right there. So I'm just going to take a speculative sell, and I'm going to try to just catch some profit there, and then I'll pull out as it drops further. That was fucking nice. I just locked in 1,500 off that. All right, so like I mentioned, it was a speculative sell. The only reason I took it because I saw the volatility pick up, and I just hopped in. I pulled out, and then that's it. So as you can see, if you know what you're doing, you can hop into these trades super quick. But if you guys don't know what you're doing, I don't recommend that you guys just hop in like that, because it's just, you guys wouldn't know exactly what to do. So yeah, I'll send you guys my profits off that. That was a full TP. That was real nice. That was super quick. I don't recommend you guys do anything like that unless you guys know what you're doing. For me, obviously, I know what I'm doing, so I can see what's going on the chart, and I'm able to hop into it real quick, and it's dropping super heavy. Damn, look at that. I should have held on to it even longer. All right. So this is going to be the 3-minute scalp right there for whoever caught it. If you guys have profits, go ahead and send them over, and then I can add them to the list. I'll send you guys my profits as well. But I just did it super quickly. So let's see. Yeah, I made 1,590 off that trade. That was super quick. Oh man, I made 1,690 off my other account. Let me see if my personal caught that as well. Only about 30 bucks. So I'll show you guys all my accounts here, and I'm just going to be 100% transparent with you guys. You know, I show you guys exactly what I do, my analysis, the trade, and then my profits after, to show you guys that I'm actually taking these trades. I'm not just calling, you know, trades out. I'm actually taking these with you because I do believe in these strategies, and I do believe in these trades here. So on my personal account, I lock in 30 bucks. Not very much, but you know, it's more than what most people make on their hourly. Here on my FTMO, I locked in 1,590, and then my other FTMO over here locked in 1,690. So for a total here, I'm up about well over 3,000 for the day off that one trade. So if you guys know what you're doing, you're able to lock in profits like that quickly. You know, this could probably be the only trade I take today, and I'll still be happy because I already made about well over 3,000 within this little time frame right here. This is the point of being patient. This is why I always recommend to you, Steven, that you got to be patient, because you got to hop into these trades right away when you have the opportunity. If you just hop in for no reason, you know, you can be stuck in that trade forever. But if you hop in at the perfect timing, you can get in and out pretty quickly and then just be done. So other than that, let me go ahead and just give you guys a little update here. Locked in some nice profit off that K2 US 33-minute scalp. So I'm just going to give you guys a little update right here, you know, for whoever took the trade with me, whoever took it on their own. I know a lot of you guys took the whole trade. So this, I was supposed to make technically 2,500 off this trade. But you know, I'm not, it's not like I'm upset that I made 1,600 off that one trade right there. If I took it from the full move, that would have been 2,500, but it's all good. You know, you add these together, I still made a lot more off that. So let me just send you guys a little update here. And I'll send you guys everyone else's profit. So let's see, we have Romania, sorry, not Romania. We have Jamie over here locked in a total of 545. And you can see, you know, certain people here know how to apply these strategies, and they just take it on their own if they see it there. Let me see if I can forward this over to the other groups real quick. And the thing is, I gave you guys the requirements here. So if you guys looked at the requirements, you guys could have, you know, figured out exactly what I was doing there and why I identified that as a possible entry. So just, you know, just keep that in mind. Let's see this over here. Scrolling down over here, let's see. All right, Cheryl locked in a total of 1,374. Great work, Cheryl. Cheryl said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I hopped in anyway. Exactly, right? Ardonius over here locked in a total of 247. Nice, a nice in and out. Charlie over here locked in a total of 198. Nice work, Charlie. Jerry over here locked in a total of 876. Great work, Jerry. Nice. Jerry said, tick the sell and officially pass my second FTMO account. Great work, Jerry. Nice. So Jerry over here has got 2 accounts now. Henry said, classic Shawn, I'm not taking it. Okay, I'm in. All right, I'm already out. Just made him that one trade. Isaac over here locked in 375. Nice work, Isaac. And let's see, Narith over here. Damn, Narith took ZM over here. He's been holding it. Now 54K. I'm not sure what ZM is. What symbol is that for? Let's see. ZM. Oh, Zoom. So he took Zoom, the actual stock. Yeah, so he held on to that. Looks like it's been super bullet or super bearish. Crazy cash right there, bro. He sold Zoom right there and made like pretty much a fat killing off that. Dre over here as well. Let's see. Dre over here locked in a total of 234. Nice work, Dre. Salorum over here locked in a total of 695. And you guys can see these are all different people. It's not just me profiting. There's like, hundreds of people here in the group. And a lot of people here locked in some pretty nice profit overall. So Dre again right there, 234. Miriam locked in a total of 497. Nice work, Miriam. Roman over here locked in a total of 775. Great work, Roman. Vincent over here. So Vincent said the demo account, but he's still learning, right? So Vincent over here, you can see he asked a question this morning about the indicators. Even though it's demo, he's still practicing. He's getting better and better and better every day, so that once he actually does a real challenge, he's going to hit the ground running and he'll be able to pass, right away without having any issues. So definitely nice work right there, Vincent. Demo or not demo, you're still locking in profits, right? A lot of people talk shit about demo, but demo is what makes you guys, it prepares you guys for the actual thing. Mira over here locked in a total of 1220. Nice work, Mira. So it doesn't matter if you guys have a big account or a small account. You can see Amira over here has a small account, still locked in 12 bucks, which is not bad. Within a few seconds, that's not something to complain about. Jesus over here as well, locked in a total of 795. Nice work, Jesus. Maddie over here locked in a total of 594. Nice work, Maddie. Let's see, other than that, I think that's it for right now. If you guys have more profit to send over, go ahead and send them over. Otherwise, we'll start looking for some more possible entries over here. So no entries available at this specific time. It's 6:53 right now. We do have news coming up at 7, so I'm just going to hold off on taking any trades from now until then. If you guys have questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, you guys can see right here exactly which strategies we are applying this morning. So we're applying the 3-minute pivot scalp strategy, the 1-minute pivot scalp strategy, and then lastly, the snipe strategy over here. So let me just mark this up to see if there's any zones in this area. So we got one zone right here, another zone right there. That's about it. All right, so nothing off the 10-minute. Possible entry here off the 1-minute though. We're looking for a retracement to the upside, and then we catch it as it drops even further. Same with this one over here. We're looking for a retracement to the upside, and then we catch it as it drops back down. We don't have that yet. Once we do have that, we can take the trade. But however, for right now, there's just no entry that's currently available. So we're just gonna wait for the news to come. News coming in about 6 minutes. Once the news passes, we can possibly look for an entry there. So let me check out the chat over here real quick and see what else I'm missing. Yeah, no, definitely. CJ said, thank you for that scalp, bro. You fired. No, definitely, CJ. Glad you guys locked in some profit off that right there. Bobby said, Shawn got the juice, spreading out the wealth of knowledge. No, exactly, guys. I'm here to help you guys out, because the thing is, I was in your position at some point. I'm here to give you guys as much information as you guys need to get to that next level. And obviously, you can see everyone's success here in K2. So you guys can see that it's very possible for you guys to lock in profit since everyone else is doing. And one thing to remind you guys is, if everyone here is killing it and you're like the one person that's not doing well, you're probably not doing things properly. So if you need help, just ask questions and we can help you guys out. We can't help you unless you guys ask the questions. So Kevin over here locked in a total of 1,559. Nice. No losses, straight wins right here. And small lot sizes too. So, this is actually really impressive when you guys see this, where someone's taking like a 1 lot, 2 lot, 5 lot, and they're stacking up all these profits right here. Because you could imagine, if Kevin here was taking a 10 lot, he'd be up like almost 10,000. So the thing is, if he's doing this with a smaller lot size, once he goes to his full lot size potential, If you have a 200K, he'll start using a 10 lot. He could be up 10,000. If he's using a 400K, once he merges two 200K counts, he'll be doing 20 lot, and he could be up about 20,000, right? So it's all a learning process, guys. I know obviously you guys can see here, other people are locking in bigger profits. You guys don't have to rush it. You guys can stay making a couple $1,000 a day, a couple $100 a day. But once you guys are there and you guys have that trade psychology to take bigger positions, you can start making the bigger profits. So, don't rush it, guys. If you guys are still learning, just, get good at what you're doing. And then once you've got everything down, you can start taking some bigger positions. And then you can start locking in more profits doing the same process that you did even prior to that. So other than that, let me see what else we're missing over here. Morning, Holy Savage. Joe's asking, did you cover NAS already? I don't trade NAS, so we don't really cover NAS here. I mean, I could cover it if you wanted me to, but I don't trade NAS myself. I only trade US 30. Other than that, let me see if I'm missing anything else over here. Sorry, let me just scroll up real quick. Looks like I missed a lot of questions. So I'm going to scroll up to the top and see what I missed over here. Main's asking, how did you make the names pop up for the low line? So, Main, if you want to turn those on, just go to the settings button right here. Go to settings and then click on indicator name value. Turn that off. There's no names there. If you turn that on, it'll be right there on the side. Let me scroll down a little further. Jalon said, look at the 1 minute and plot the downtrend with the lines. It looks like it could break to the upside too. So yeah, here on the 1 minute, Jelano's asking about the trend lines right here. So if I draw like a parallel channel from up here, yeah, it could possibly break out if it comes above there. It breaks above here. The thing that I'd be worried about, Jalon, is when the news comes in the next 3 minutes. When the news comes at 7 o'clock, that could be a fake out. Like you can push above it, and then as soon as it reaches there, it might reject off this like a double top, and then it'll come all the way back down. So I don't really analyze anything until after the news happens, because there can be a late reaction to the news, or it can be some sort of manipulated move to basically lure some people in one direction or the other. But no, I can see what you're saying right there. You can see the trend downwards, and then if it does swing back up, it can possibly break out to the upside. But I'm not gonna go against the fundamentals, because the fundamentals are currently red right now. So I wouldn't be looking for any buys until this shifts to the green side. So let me scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Christopher said 10 minutes setting up for another sell with a little wick on the bottom. So looking over here on the 10 minute, I don't see any entries here for a sell yet, because we don't have a sell signal available yet. Christopher, once we have a sell signal, we can start looking for some scalps to the downside. But currently right now, it just hasn't confirmed yet. I mean, you can see right here, there was a snipe available up here that was actually pretty perfect. I'll show you guys an example of that. So looking at this over here, so at the specific strategy right here, you guys can see that we're looking for a wick rejection off the K2 pivots, a wick rejection off the structure. So if you're looking at this one right here, I'm just going to show you an example of the strategy. So we got a wick rejection off the K2 pivots right here, this blue pivot. We have a wick rejection off this K2 SR zone. We want to confirm that this wick rejection off the pivot doesn't touch the candle body, which it isn't. We confirm the direction of momentum using the K2 momentum indicator right here. We have a sell momentum. So with that said, we would take a short position right here. We would set this up at 500 pips both directions. And then if you guys were to take this trade and you let it run, there you go, full TP, no drawdown. So that's one of the entries that were available here off the 10 minute. Looking at current price right now, there's currently no entries that are available because there's no wick rejection off the pivot, no wick rejection off the structure. Right here, this would technically be a nice sell, but there's no sell signal there to push it to the downside. So it doesn't confirm the fourth requirement. All right, so news just came out right now. Let's see what happened with that. Here on the 3 minute, there might be a possible entry if we get a sell signal here. But yeah, let's pull up the news real quick, see if there's anything that is really that's really affecting the market at all. So let's see, is it negative? It is negative. So we might see this drop further. If I see a sell signal come here on the 3 minute, then I'll take the sell. However, right now there's no sell entry that's available just yet. So once we get that, we can probably take it. Otherwise, we're just going to wait for that sell signal to appear right here. This green signal right here is going to be the retracements. We have that retracement from right there. We're now just waiting for it to come down. In order for us to take this trade, we need a valid K2 momentum signal. So we're waiting for that to come up here on the 3-minute. Once we get that, we can take the sell, and then we can hop in for another 3-minute scalp right there. Same with the 1-minute over here, actually, though. We have the retracement right here. We're just looking for it to come right back down. Once it comes down, we can hop in for that sell as well. But just keep in mind, the news just happened. So with that news just coming up right there, there can be a possible late reaction. Sometimes if the market doesn't move immediately, it's going to move like a few minutes later. Right now it's 7:01. You haven't really seen a move here. However, the news was negative, so it might have a late reaction to the news. So just keep that in mind. The market doesn't always move right away. Sometimes a lot of people will be cautious, right? They'll wait to see how other people react to the news, and then they react to it. So that's why I never trade news. I wait for the news to pass before I top into that, because you could get caught in a fake out like this right here, right? This looks like a fake out because the news here was negative all morning, right? So we had bad news at 6:45. It was forecasted to be higher. So bad news at 6:45, bad news at 7 o'clock, but price is still going up, right? You can see this big wick right here because it's starting to trap people. It's starting to show people that price is possibly going to go up. So people chase that push up. As soon as they chase that push up, price just comes crashing right back down. So don't get caught in these traps right here. They're just trying to trap people who don't know what they're doing. So just keep that in mind. Same with right here, right? You see this big bullish move right here. This candle was way up here. So if people saw that and they don't know how to read news and they don't know how to read fundamentals and they don't know how to read charts, this is a basic trap right here. They're just making it look like it's going up. So people hop into that buy. As soon as they hop into the buy, it comes crashing right back down. So just keep that in mind. A lot of traps get set up and a lot of people don't realize it until it's too late. So other than that, I'm going to be looking for some possible scalps here. So you guys have the requirements here. So you guys know exactly what I'm looking for. We have everything set up already. The only thing we're looking for is a possible valid sell signal. We need a valid sell signal, meaning a red sell signal, the red candle within it. The wicks don't really matter. It's just whether it's a valid signal or not. Because price is currently below the pivot, so it's already ready to go. We just need that valid signal to hop into the trade. So I'm just gonna delete this stuff right here because I want to keep a clean chart, and I just want to be ready for that entry once I see it. Let me keep going down the questions real quick to see if I'm missing anything. Andre said, what do you mean by you saw the volatility pick up? So earlier right here, Andre, I mean, it's pretty clear when you saw the volatility pick up because like right here, you can see price was just going sideways, right? So if I rewind to this right here, you can see price was not moving. Volatility was low, right? When price doesn't move, like right here, it's just moving like four pips, right? If it's barely moving, there's no volatility right there, right? You see these big spikes right here. This is a pick up in volatility. When you see these bigger spikes in price, or actually, let me see, when did we take this trade? Yeah, we took it around 6:44. So right here, you can see where it was moving really slow, right? Little candle, big candle right here. This is a pickup in volatility. Big candle right there. That's a pickup in volatility. Big candle right there, right? So I mean, it's pretty common sense, but if you guys don't know what to look out for, you guys can see that it's kind of confusing, right? So Andre, this is probably why you didn't understand it, because you didn't understand that price is moving slow right here. Right here, price is moving slow because the candle bodies are so small, right? They're not even moving at all. It starts to pick up here slowly, picks up heavy right there, and then a big push right there. That's a pickup in volatility because price goes from not moving at all to moving heavily in one direction. So this would be a quick explanation as to how I saw volatility pick up. And that's why I hopped into this trade, because the trade started moving downwards and the news was negative. So with the news negative, obviously I'm going to hop into that trade and make a quick profit off it. And there you go, as it keeps dropping around that area. So that's how I was able to identify a pickup in volatility, because price was barely moving and then it started moving all of a sudden. Let me scroll up real quick, scroll down. Nice. Solange said, I took a speculative sell after seeing the full bearish candle at 41 passed on the 1 minute chart, full 500. Yeah, exactly, Solange. I took the same exact trade there. And that's how I locked in that profit off that last trade. Let's see. Christopher said, what if we get a sell indicator on the 10-minute after the candle with the huge wick, with the sell signal doesn't go below the previous wick? So Christopher, I think you might be mixing up the strategies. There's no requirement for price to be below or above the pivots, right? There's no requirement here for that. So you're definitely mixing up the strategies, because this strategy doesn't have that requirement. So it doesn't really matter where price is with regard to the pivots. We're just looking for wick rejections. You need a wick rejection off K2 pivot, wick rejection off K2 SR zone. Just confirm that the pivot isn't touching the body, and that's about it. There's no requirement for it to be above or below the pivots. So just keep that in mind. I see a lot of people mix up the strategies, which is fine if you're still learning. I know you're still learning, so it's not a big deal. But in the future, you want to make sure that you don't mix those up, because these two are completely different strategies. The only ones that are the same are the 3-minute here and the 1 minute. They're just on different time frames. But the 10-minute is it's completely different. The requirements don't match these at all. So let me just scroll down real quick, see what else I'm missing. Let's see, Vincent said the graph has the lines but doesn't have the label for, yeah, so if you want to turn those on, Vincent, just go over here to settings. It'll say indicator name label. This is probably how yours looks right now. If you want to turn that on, just click this and then it'll be on for you. City said doing something wrong, down 1K for the morning SMH. Yeah, bro, I don't know what you did, City. Everyone's up for this morning. I don't see any losses over here. Let's see. So yeah, I don't see anybody with any losses this morning, City. So I mean, obviously you might have done something wrong, because Junior has straight wins, right? No losses. He's up 3,029. I have no losses this morning as well. Great work, Junior. So for Junior over here logged in 3,029. Same with Kevin over here, no losses, straight wins. Dre over here, he said he had a few hiccups, but overall green. So he had a couple like accidental losses here, it looks like, but for the most part, he had straight wins. And the thing is, he understood that he made some mistakes there. So I'm not sure what you did, City, but no one here is in the negative, right? Everyone's is in the green. Like everyone's straight wins here. Jerry's straight wins, no losses. I have straight wins, no losses. You might have taken the wrong trade. We took a sell. I don't know if you took a buy on accident. That might have been the case, because none of us here have any losses. So there might be something that you might have done wrong. I'm not sure if you can explain like what you did, then we could probably go over like what you did wrong. But I mean, obviously, no one here has any losses for this morning. So let me scroll down over here real quick and see what else I'm missing. Scott said, hey, Shawn, can you give us first-time FTMO challengers any advice? Finding it tough to make a profit, make the profit level in the free trial, which gives a 14-day window with a 200K account. Profit level is 10K, but we need to average 1K per day, as we only get 10 days, Monday through Friday, US 30 trade days. I'm using lots 5 or 7.5. Any advice how to make profit level, or do I need to move up my lot to 10? Thanks in advance. So Scott, the main issue would be your lot sizing. Your lots are way too small. So you should definitely be using around a, well, I mean, 7.5 should be fine. Maybe you could give a little more details, like why you're having issues. Because the thing is, so here's the thing, Scott, like for the past couple of months, like we haven't had any losses, right? So here's the thing, if you're taking not every trade, but if you're taking X amount of trades and you're taking a 7.5 lot size, and say your average profit potential, your profit pips are going to be around, say you take a breakout every day, right? 500 pips. So if you're making 3,750 per trade or per day, you should easily make that 10,000 with no problem, right? Because your profit goal is 10,000. You divide that by 3,750 a day. You only need 2.6 good trading days. So there should be no issue with you reaching that point. I'm assuming there's probably some other outside factor that's causing you not to reach that goal, because it's literally impossible for you not to pass it if you do it with a 7.5. Because we've had, I mean, if you look at the results here, we haven't really had any losses for the entire month of August. We had like maybe one loss. But so looking over here for our live trades, we had about 35 wins and one loss for the entire month of August. So, I mean, literally, if you were to just take, 2 good trading days or 3 good trading days, you should be able to pass with no problem. And that's using a 7.5 lot size. If you're using a 10 lot, you would have gone there even faster. So if you could give a little more details as to like what you're having problems with, I can help you with it. But, I just debunked like the whole issue there with you not being able to pass within 10 days, because it's literally impossible for you not to pass if you follow directions and did things properly. And even if you took a smaller trade, so like say, for example, here, say you're doing a 7.5 lot and you're only taking like one 3-minute trade, right? So we'll just multiply it by 250. We're being super conservative here. If you only take one 3-minute trade, you'd still be locking in 1,875 per day because we haven't had losses, right? So if you divide that by 10,000, 1,875, you should be able to pass within 5.3 days, 5.3 good trading days, or 5.3 good trades, which is very possible because if you take about 1 to 3 trades a day, so if you take about 5 or 6 trades and you hit TP on those, then you would have passed your FTMO. So I'm just trying to get across to like what the other issues might be, because the trades are obviously not the issues. Your lot size are probably not the issues either, because 7.5 should be well enough to get you to that point. Even a 5 lot could get you to that point. And I'm just, I'm giving you the actual raw numbers here, so to show you that, what's possible if you actually take these trades and you hit the TPs. So other than that, let me just scroll down further and see what other questions we have here. Al's asking, good morning, Shawn. I'm having issues with my lot size on TD Ameritrade account. What lot size should I use on a 30K account right now? I have it set up to 1 tick equals 50 cents. So the problem with TD Ameritrade is I don't know what your margin levels are, Al, because I know it depends on your account. Like, I don't know if you can even take bigger margin. What lot size are you normally using for TD? Because we can probably base it off that. So Al, if you can let me know which lot size are you using and how much profit you're generally making, we can determine whether you have to increase your lot size or you have to decrease it, because you should be basing everything off your risk, right? So like, for example, if you have a 30K account, you should probably be risking maybe 1 to 2%, right? So we could do like a 1.5%, so 5. And that's still pretty high. You probably don't even want to risk that much. So, you're on a 30K account, you probably want to risk 1% or less. So 30K account, even 1% is going to be 3K. I don't think you want to risk that much. Or 0.01. So if you want to risk like, less than 1%, you can risk 300 per trade. So if you could give me like a lot size and then we can determine, what your profitability has been like, then we can probably make adjustments. But I think, depending on what your risk is, I don't know what your risk is. Like for me risking 3,000 is not going to be a big deal, but for you, it might be a big deal. So you have to trade, however, if it's your trading profile. Like if you're ready to trade big lots, you can trade big lots. If you're not ready, which it seems like you're probably not there yet, which is fine. You're still learning. You want to keep it to a minimum until you are comfortable and you can start taking bigger lot sizes. So looking at US 30 over here, guys, it's starting to shoot up, right? And this is why we didn't take the sell yet. So now that it's shot up like this, our bias might be changing from a sell to a buy. There's a possible snipe that's going to be available right here, actually, once this closes. We got about 6 minutes left on this candle. If this closes right here, this might be a possible snipe. Let me check I don't even know what happened. Let's see the fundamentals real quick. The fundamentals are currently still negative 50, so another positive 9 now. So the fundamentals are now green. Looks like it's starting to shift to a buy now. So looking at the actual stock index right here, this is currently, yeah, it looks like it's starting to shift to the upside. Let me just refresh this. Wait, is this thing refreshing? Okay, it's negative 32 on the futures data. The current daily average is currently above. It's up 9 points. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 63% short. So looks like the fundamentals are starting to shift to the upside. It's not a very strong shift. It's only up 16 points, which is not really that much. But if that becomes the case, then our bias is starting to shift from a sell to a buy, which is completely fine. That happens. You shouldn't be stuck on like one bias all throughout the session. If the bias changes, your analysis changes as well. Now that price is above the pivots, if this closes above, then currently price is going to be shooting to the upside. So if that becomes the case, we're looking for now a retracement down here and then a swing back up. Same with the 1 minute, looking for a retracement here and then a swing back up. On the 10-minute over here, this is going to qualify as a proper snipe entry. And then if that becomes the case, we can take this for a possible buy right there to the upside. But, we won't know until the candle closes. This candle closes in about 4 minutes, so we still have some time. I'll keep going down the questions real quick to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Main's asking, is there training on how to use the low lines? The low lines they just act as rejection points. There's no specific strategy for it. It's just an extra confirmation for you. So, you can see right here that price respects these areas, right? generally you don't want to trade where price is coming next to these areas. So it's kind of like there's no real strategy that's used to it. It's just using it as an extra confirmation. So like say, for example, if you're taking a buy right here, you probably don't want to take a buy when it's in close to the lines, right? It's probably going to bounce right off. Same situation right here. You probably don't want to take a buy around this area because it's going to bounce right off. There's no official video for it because there's no strategy that's meant for it. This is just used for an extra confirmation. But if you want to go and look at it, there's previous sessions made. Let me just check real quick. Let me see. Okay, so I released the strategy, that indicator right here on August 22. If you look at the live session from August 23, just go to the videos on YouTube. So if you go to the videos over here, go to videos, go to the video from August 23. That will be the explanation here for that. Let me just see if I can find it over here. It was kind of recent. It was like last week, I think. Yeah. All right, so let me just send you the link here, man. I'll send it in the chat. If you want to watch that video, that one and the one after, the day after, the 24th, I explained it in there, like how it worked, but there's no real strategy to use it for. It's just an extra confirmation. So I posted the link right there in the group for, oh wait, sorry, it's in the waiting room. Just post this there. There you go, man. So look in the Zoom chat. I posted the link for those videos there if you want to watch them. That's where I kind of explained like how they work, but for the most part, you just use them as an extra confirmation. Like once you already have an entry available, you just want to make sure you're not trading close to those lines because price is likely to bounce off them. You can see how price respects these areas on both directions, right? So right here, price comes down, bounces right off it, tries to break through it. Once it breaks below, it just establishes a new zone in that area. It's kind of similar to the K2SRs. There's no specific way to use it, but it's just used for an extra confirmation. So, all right, that's that. Let me see if there's anything else over here. We got about 2 minutes for this candle to close. If this closes here, I'm probably not going to take it, but I'm going to use it as a guideline for the lower time frames over here. And the reason for that is because it's 7:18 right now. I'm probably going to get off in the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. So once we run out of questions, I'm going to log off for the day, but I'm going to try to catch a couple more scalps if possible as we stay on here. Archit's asking, do you trade Nasdaq and DAX 30? No, I only trade US 30, but these strategies work for all the assets. So if you want to use them for other assets, you can. A lot of people use this for Nasdaq and for S&P and DAX as well, actually. A lot of our traders from Europe use this for DAX 30, but I personally don't do it myself. Kyle's asking, what's a pip size for the 10-minute snipe? It's going to be 500 pips both ways, Kyle. But I probably wouldn't take this right here because the fundamentals here aren't that strong. I'm just going to use this as a guideline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this up here. I'm not going to take the trade. Just keep that in mind. You know, another reminder, I'm not going to take this trade. I'm just going to mark this up for possible buy so that if I get a buy here on the 3-minute, I'm going to be confident with taking this trade because we actually have another trade running here on the 10-minute. So if you guys want to take it at your own risk, but I consider this to be a risky trade. One of the reasons is that the fundamentals here aren't that strong. They're only up 8 points. It's like nothing, right? You want it to be up 100 points or down 100 points for there to be a bias there, but there's currently no strong bias here off the average for the day. And looking over here at the stock index, I mean, it's mostly green, but they're not very strong. They can easily shift the other way at any moment. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's mostly green right here, but you can see that there's some strong red ones. Like Nike's down 3 points, Home Depot's down 1.7, Apple's down 1.5, the Dow Inc.'s down 1. So these can easily shift one way or the other. I don't like trading when it's right down the middle like this. I like trading when it's heavily one-sided. So something to keep in mind. All right, this is probably going to close here. And just another reminder, I'm not going to take this trade. I'm just going to use it as a marker for me. So here we go. I'm going to put it right there. But I'm not going to be taking the trade. I'll just keep an alert here for whoever decides to take it. All right, so going back over here, I'm looking for a retracement. I'm gonna catch it as it swings back up. Same with the 1 minute, looking for the retracement here. I'm gonna catch it as it swings back up. Let me scroll up and see what other questions I missed. All right. So Main's asking, also, your settings for the pivots indicator, did you change or it's the same as when you first used it? Yeah, so for the pivots, I don't change any of the settings here. The only thing that I did was I took off the pivots 1 and 2 for the 1 minute and 3 minute. For the 10 minute, I leave it on there, but for the 3 minute and 1 minute, I took it off because we only use the requirements only require pivots 3 and 4. They don't require the other pivots. So that's why I took it off for that one. If you want to change it, you can. But yeah, for the most part, you can just take these off if you want to have them like same as my chart. Yasmin said, what's the minimum amount to trade US 30? I mean, it depends on your broker, Yasmin. If you're using a standard lot size broker like Hugo's Way, you need at least 1,000. That's going to be bare minimum. If you're using CoinEx, you can go with a lot smaller, about 500 to 200, depending on how you plan on trading. But for the most part, for most brokers, you need at least 1,000 to trade US 30. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it depends on the broker. Yasmin, if you want to use a smaller account size, check out CoinEx. That's going to be one that a lot of people use. Yeah, no, definitely. Andre said, this is great teaching, Shawn. Thanks, no problem. Duggan said, German and London down 0.67%, expecting US 30 to continue down. Me too, Duggan. And that's why I'm not hopping into these trades right away, right? Because the bias here is still not very strong. Now you can see right here, it's down back into the red. And that's why I wasn't so keen on taking a buy because, it looks like it's still going to keep coming down further. But we'll see. I mean, if price decides to shift over, then we can start looking for a buy. But currently right now, I don't feel comfortable with it, with me taking it in that direction or the other. Nice. Yeah, Christopher said in the blue. Thank you, K2, living legend. No, definitely. Glad to see that you guys lock in some nice profit off that. Michael said, hi, Shawn. Sorry, I missed it. Where's the setting for the HL labels? So Michael, in order to get these labels right here on this side, just go to settings right here. Right here, it says indicator name label. When you turn that off, this is probably how yours looks. If you want to turn it on, just click that and then click OK. Then you'll set it right there at that point. Scott said, when you say 50 pips, this means for a buy 35,000 and sell. No, that'd be 500, Scott. So, I mean, it just depends on what you're looking at as well, Scott, because this right here are labeled as points. If you're looking at MT4, it has a different number there. So on MT4, there's a dot, and then there's 2 numbers behind it, right? So that's why it would be 500 because you're counting the extra numbers right here. These are the whole numbers. These are ticks. So these don't have pips. You can see right here for just using this as an example, like I'm going to try to find one over here that has something, or I can just use this US dollar. So as you can see right here, it has a smaller tick number right here, right? Like a number behind it. You can see right here for US 30, it doesn't have that extra number because these aren't pips, these are ticks. So ticks and points are the same thing. Pips stand for points in percentage. So that's why they have a smaller number behind it because there's a point in percentage on it. So depending on your broker, Scott, I'm not sure if you're using, I don't even know which broker you're using. So if you're using a broker that's a futures broker, it's going to be something like this where it doesn't have pips because for futures, they don't use pips, they use ticks or points. If you're using a FOREX broker, then they're going to have 2 extra numbers behind here. So that 50 example that you use there, those aren't pips, those are ticks. So if you want to convert pips to ticks, you just add a 0 to it because it's a point in percentage. So if you have 10 pips, if you have 10 ticks, that's 100 pips. If you have 50 ticks, that's 500 pips. You just add a 0 to the end. So hopefully that clears up your confusion there. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, you might be selling too soon because the thing is, like for your example right there that you just used, 50 pips, that's actually 500 pips. So I don't think you're actually going for a full 500 pips. You're going for something smaller than that. So like, for example, here, I'm just going to mark this up to show you. What was I even looking at here? Sorry, I got confused for a second. Let me go to the 1 minute over here. And you can see right here, price is starting to come right back down, right? This is why we didn't want to take that buy earlier. There would technically be a sell available right here, but I don't think I'm going to take it either because it's still looking like super risky. Let me just check the fundamentals over here. Fundamentals are down 38 points. Retail sentiment is down 65%. Features data is down Let's see. Let's just refresh real quick. The futures data. It's not refreshing. Okay. Futures data is currently up 14 points, but the average is down 54. I don't think this is refreshed. CNBC is moving like really slow right now. It's not refreshing on my page. So there's a possible sell here. If it does close, but I don't think it's one that I would take because this candle right here is really big. If there's a big candle like this, so if there's a big candle that drops like this and there's a wick below it, generally it's gonna have to retrace up a little bit. So it's probably gonna retrace up slightly, retest, and then come right back down. That's what I can kind of see happening here. So we'll see. Let's see. This candle is closing in about 20 seconds. So this is what might happen here. Since there's a big wick right here, it might just retrace up to the K2 high lows over here, and then it might just come right back down. But we'll see what happens. We got about 6 seconds left on this candle. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. No entry there because there's no signal, obviously. But we'll see what happens next. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, looking over here at the daily average is now down 43 points. And that's exactly why I didn't take the buy earlier, right? If you guys listened to my analysis earlier, I mentioned that it wasn't really heavily one side or the other. That's why I didn't want to take it. Now that it's starting to push right back down, it kind of wants me to take it. I kind of want to take it at this point. And this aligns with what I said earlier, right? With the news. So with the news earlier, I mentioned that the news was negative, right? So it's got to come down, but it just might not come down right away. What happened here was there was a late reaction, right? They tried to manipulate price upwards to have people enter some buys. And then when you least expected it, it came right back down to where it was supposed to go, right? Because the buys is still for a sell. It's just a lot of people got faked out. They entered this buy here, they get trapped, and then now it drops all the way straight down. So it's something to keep in mind. I only know this stuff because I've been trading US 30 every day for like the past 3 years. So I've seen these patterns play in and out every single day. It's the same pattern almost every time. Especially when news happens. And that's why I don't trade news. I usually wait until after news is over, or I trade right before news so that I don't get caught in this manipulation right here. But I do see it coming right back down. So if I get a sell signal, I'll possibly enter into that. But for right now, nothing available just yet. So let me just scroll up real quick and see what else I missed. Yeah, Christopher said, now we're changing bias, right? So yeah, bias changed from a sell to a buy, now for a buy to a sell. You know, you guys have to be on your feet. You guys have to understand exactly what you're doing in order to catch these changes in bias. Because the thing is, if you get stuck to only looking for sells, you can get caught in the reversal. And then vice versa. If you get stuck looking only for buys, you can get caught in the reversal as well. Scott said, just posted my 5 lot from today. It was only 447. Is this correct? So Scott, how many pips did you, let me just check your Scott. Scott, this is you, right? Okay, yeah. So Scott said 495. Okay. So let me just show you real quick a breakdown of your trade right here, Scott. So like, see these numbers right here? What you're basically going to look at, you're going to look at you're going to ignore the last number, and then you're going to look at the last 4. So let me just get this calculator out right here. So you took a sell. Looks like you took a sell at 353,166, right? That's going to be the higher number because that's where you sold from. You subtract 353,067. Sorry, 353,067. So you made about 99 pips right there, right? That's basically how many pips you locked in. You took a 5 lot, so you multiply that by 5, and that's exactly what you locked in, right? 495. So that's how you locked in that profit right there, because you only locked in 99 pips, and each pip is worth $5 because you took a 5 lot. So you can see that I did the math there, right? Your exact profits right there came up right here because I calculated exactly to how it's supposed to be calculated. So you took a 5 lot, each pip was worth $5. You locked in 99 pips because that was your price from your sell until your exit. And then you locked in a total of 495. Look at my calculator here, 495. It's easy math. It's just you have to understand how to calculate it. But yeah, it's pretty spot on. Yeah, no problem, Scott. I know it's something that a lot of people get confused with, but it's really not that difficult if you actually understand how to do the math. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that it came out perfectly too, because I was kind of worried that I was going to calculate it wrong. It did exactly what we calculated here. The reason why your profit was smaller is because it took out commissions and spread. So that's the reason why your actual profit was a little bit smaller, because they did take commission off your trade. Yeah, no problem. Scott said, I get it now. Thank you so much. Definitely, no problem. All right, guys. So but definitely great work off that, Scott. Glad to see that you locked in some nice profit off that. Let me scroll over here real quick. Albert said he's traveling, managed to snipe this trade. Nice work, Albert. So Albert is currently traveling right now, locked in a total of 527. Great work, Albert. Dell over here as well. Dell locked in a total of 595. Great work, Dell. Over here, Sisuk locked in a total of 4,445. Great work, Sisuk. Patricia over here, straight wins, no losses, total of 9,235. Great work, Patricia. So you guys are killing it, man. Great work amongst everyone here. Sisuk on his other account locked in 1,013. Great work, Sisuk. Jason over here locked in a total of about 1,000. Nice work, Jason. No losses, straight wins. And then again, right here, another win. So well over 1,000 for the day, Jason. Great work, killing it today. If you guys have any of the profits that you guys want to send over, go ahead and send them over. This is obviously a scammer. So whenever I see scammers like that join the room, I kick them out right away. Let's see, her name was Patrina. Get him booted. There you go. Slorm over here locked in a total of 1,381. Nice work, Slorm. Yeah, Patricia locked in 9,235. Great work, Patricia. And I think that's it for now. If you guys have more profits you guys want to send over, go ahead and post them in the group. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up this session early in a bit. So if you guys have more questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and then I can answer any questions that you guys have. It's currently 7:32 right now. I don't really see any entries available, so it doesn't look like I'm going to be taking anything else for the day. I'm pretty happy with my profits. I locked in about 3,000 for the day. So you guys saw my profits from earlier. I only took one trade. So one trade over here. So here's my personal account. I locked in about 30 bucks. I'll just round that up so it's easier. Right here, I locked in 1,590. And then my other account over here, I locked in a total of 1,690. So I'm up 3,310 for the day. I only took one trade. And you guys can see, if you guys have the accuracy and you're able to lock in those perfect trades, you can lock in this much daily, just taking one or two trades a day. So I have no losses this week. You can see for today, I'm up about 3,000. Yesterday, my trade that I took right here, took about 4 trades, a total of 2,308 off the other account and 2,800 on the other account. So if I add that up here, plus 2,008 plus 2,308, I'm currently up 7,626 for this week so far. It's only Tuesday. I only took about 4 trades yesterday, and then I took 1 trade today. So out of 5 trades, this is how much I'm up for this week. So if you guys have the consistency and you guys are able to, lock in these profits consistently every day, not lose, this is what you guys can be locking in, right? A lot of people always say that win rates don't matter. It actually does matter, because if you add up your wins and you don't have any losses, it adds up to a nice profit for the week, right? So, whenever I hear people say that, where they say that win rate doesn't matter, it's because they're not good at winning. They're good at winning like once every 100 times. For us here, I don't like losing trades, so we generally win, majority of the time here. That's why we have such a high win rate. Everyone trades differently. There's no right or wrong way to trade, but you never see me over here knocking people for trying to go and shoot for, whatever trading style they like. I accept every trading style. I don't ever hate on anybody's trading style. The only people hate on other people's trading styles because they're insecure about the way they trade, right? And that's fine. Some people are just like that. They just like to hate on everybody else. But other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I missed over here. Let me scroll up real quick and see what else I'm missing. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions here before I log off. So let's see. Talanji said, looks like it's going to make the infamous V back to London Open. Let's see. So London Open was right over here. Or possibly, Talanji, that could have happened right there. It could have made the V that you were just mentioning. But I personally don't think it's going to do that. Reason for that is because it was negative this morning. So I think this push up right here was a fake out. I think this was a little fake out to get people to hop into that buy. And then now it's coming all the way back down. So I think it's going to keep dropping personally, in my perspective. Also because the sentiment isn't it's not very big. It's 65% short, so it's not really that big. I think the crazy moves will happen tomorrow, because we do have news coming up on Wednesday. We have OPEC all day. So tomorrow's gonna be a really risky day to trade. We also have ADP non-employment change at 5:15. And it's gonna pretty much give a a breakdown as to like how unemployment has changed. Again, at 7, we have ISM manufacturing PMI. Then again, at 7:30, we have crude oil inventory. And then lastly, we have Fed member Bostic speaking at 9. So the entire day tomorrow is going to be full of news. And we're going to start to see some crazy movement, all throughout the session. Let me just scroll over here real quick and see what else we got over here. Quinn said, what's the lot size that you should use for a 10K account? So Quinn, depending on what's your max for the 10K account, Quinn? Because I can tell you, here, I'll just pull it up for you actually. Go to FTMO. I mean, we've done this before, but I keep forgetting, like, I should probably just keep a chart somewhere so that you guys can understand. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter what your profit needs to be. It matters what your loss is, what your max loss is. So let me just pull this up over here. So you're on a 10K account. Your max loss is 500 for the day. So let's see, one lot times 500. Actually, so 500 divided by 3, 166. So you should probably be using a 0. No, it's too high. All right, so you should probably be using around a 0.3 for your lot size off a 10K account. And the reason for that is because if you're taking a 0.3, so let me just show you an example of it. So your max loss is 500, right? If you're taking a 0.3 lot size, you multiply it by 500 pips, you're risking about 150 per trade. So in order for you to reach your daily loss, you 500 divided by 150, you can lose 3.3 back-to-back trades. We don't lose that many trades, but that's how much you can lose before you reach your daily max loss and you have to call it a day. You want to keep yourself within a safe risk management range where you don't get anywhere near your max daily loss. So you should probably be using a 0.3 per trade. Not that you're anticipating any losses, it's just that you want to confirm that you can have some cushion, some leeway in case you want that trade to go a little bit longer than it's supposed to. But if you lose a trade and you lose 150, that's completely fine because you can lose up to 500 a day, and this should be your solid lot size. Because the thing is, if you're taking a 0.4, you're kind of pushing it because you're risking 200 per trade. Yeah, 0.4 times 500. You're risking 200 per trade. You don't want to do that because if you lose 2 trades back to back, you're going to be really close to your max daily loss. So it looks like your lot size you should be using is either a 0.03 or lower. But 0.3 is going to be your max lot size. All right, guys. So let me see if there's any other questions here. It's 7:40, so it looks like I'm about to log off right now. Let me see if there's anything else for me to cover before we continue on. Yeah, Bobby said hate on the scammers. Pay to see Zoom calls live and then scam. Makes no sense to me. No, exactly, Bobby. I mean, it's so weird that like we have scammers that are in the premium, like they pay to be in the premium just to try to scam people. It just doesn't make sense. If they would just trade and not be like lazy asses like they are, they could easily profit with everyone here because obviously everyone's profiting. You guys can see all of the names here. These are all from today. So if you look at the timestamp from today, it says today right here, right? These are all the members in K2 who profited, right? Sisu locked in 2,000, Jamie locked in 545, Cheryl locked in 1,300, Ardanius locked in 200, Charlie locked in 200. If these scammers would just trade and not be lazy, they could make way more profit than trying to scam people. But yeah, Bobby, like I mentioned, we can't really do much about those people. There's like literally nothing for them to look forward to. All you do is look forward to scam people, which just doesn't make any sense to me either. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Let's see. Let me scroll up real quick. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions here. All right. Yeah, Abraham said fundamentals are changing. That's right. Nice. Al made about $8 off that trade. Nice work, Al. Amira said, do the indicators work on currency pairs on the 4-hour time frame? Would any adjustments need to be made? The indicators work on any time frame and any asset, Amira. It just depends on what strategy you plan on applying, right? There's no specific strategy that I would. Well, I use the 4-hour K2SR strategy. That's what I would use, but I mean, it just depends on what you plan on using. So If you want to use what I'm using, I use the K2SR zone strategy for the 4-hour time frame. And for that, you only need certain indicators. You need the zones, you need the K2 pivots. Actually, the pivots aren't necessary. If you're applying this specific strategy, you only need the momentum indicator and the zone. That's pretty much it. For me personally, I add on the pivots and I add on the K2 trend meter for extra confirmation, but it's not necessary. So depends on which strategy you're applying, but all the indicators work on any time frame and any asset. Amira, it depends on which one you plan on applying. Let me scroll down real quick. Delmas said, do you have a strategy for at least a TP stop loss for 5-minute entries? Not necessarily, Delmas, because I don't trade that. You know, I figured out what works best, and what works best is the 3-minute and 1-minute. So 1 second, guys. I gotta go do something real quick, but I'll be right back. So. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had opened the door for my dogs. You guys can see them right here. Cody's right here on my side. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Let me go down the questions real quick, see if I missed anything else, and then we could wrap up this session. So let's see. Abraham said, or actually Maddie said 1-minute buy. So let me go check that real quick. Let's scroll up real quick. Yeah, so going back to your question, Delmas, you were asking if I have a strategy for the 5-minute. So I personally don't have a strategy for the 5-minute. I would probably, actually, I can't even give you a number because I never trade on the 5-minute. So I don't want to give you a random number for you to shoot for. You can probably ask in the group to see if anyone else has any input. But me personally, I only trade on the 3-minute and the 1-minute. I mean, obviously, you can probably just increase the target. So for here, it's like 250. You could probably just increase it to like 300 or 350 or something like that. But I wouldn't necessarily base it off that without testing. You might want to go back and just back test it to see how far it moves. The only reason I know it moves this much is because I've been trading the 3-minute and 1-minute for years now, so I understand how it moves specifically. Looks like there was a 1-minute entry right here while I was gone. I didn't take the trade, but it looks like it would have hit TP right there. I just saw you call that, Maddie. So Maddie in the group mentioned that there was a 1-minute buy. It looks like it just hit TP. Same with the 3-minute over here. Let me check the bias real quick. So the reason why I don't want to enter these buys right now is because the fundamental bias is still a sell. right? It's still kind of just bouncing around this area. And also the sentiment isn't very short. If the sentiment was like 70% short, then I would be all for taking buys. However, right now, sentiment is kind of right down the middle. So it's kind of risky when taking a buy because you really don't know what direction it'll be pushing you from and or to. So just keep that in mind if you guys are looking to enter any trades here. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed over here. Yeah, Charlie said 1 minute scalp full TP already. Yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately, but it looks like it would have been a good entry at that point for this 1 minute right there. So there's this pending 3 minute here. I'm probably not going to take it, but if it does look like a good trade, then I'll just mark it up for you guys. But I think I'm done for the day. I'm happy with my prop for the day. I'm already up like about 3,000 something for today. I'm up about 4,000 from yesterday. So in total for this week, I'm up about 7,600 across all my accounts, which is not too bad, right? Like if you guys do the math here. So like I've been going over with you guys, you know, a lot of you guys want to just hit 6 figures a year, right? So if you guys want to hit 6 figures a year, say 100,000, it's not really that much money if you really break it down. So you do 100,000 divided by 12, that's 12 months in the year. You divide that by 4 weeks out of the month. You only need to make 2,000 per week, which is really not that much if you think about it. If you see how much profit everyone's making here daily, like for today, you know, I already made about 3,000. So if I just keep doing this every day, that'd easily be 100K a year, right? And if you want to break it down even more, you divide that by 5. You only need to make 416 a day. You guys have seen how much profit everyone here is making, right? So if I show you over here, Patrick over here locked in 5,000 for the day, right? He's way over the limit. So if like he made 5,000 off this account, and then his other account, he made 8,675. So he killed it. He took that buy there, so you can see his buy, and he locked in the full profit off that trade right there. There's another pending buy here, but I'm probably not going to take it, you know, for the obvious reasons. But you can see right here, see Patrick, he's been showing his profits every single day. You've seen Patrick in the group. If you're trying to make 6 figures, he's already made that goal. He can literally just take one trade every week, make about 5,000, and then he's done for like 2 months. And then he can make his 100K at the end of the year, right? Looking over here, Dell locked in a total of 454. So Dell, you've seen Dell right here in the group. Dell's the one that was asking about the 5 minute. So here's a 3 minute scalp right here. I'm not going to take this trade, but I'll just mark it up for you guys for whoever wants to take it. I think it's a risky trade. And the reason for that is because the fundamentals are still pretty bearish, and the market sentiment is still not heavily one-sided. But I'll just mark this up for whoever decides to take it. And I'll just go over my explanation here again. So Dell over here, you can see he was asking the question in the chat. Dell locked in a total of 454, right? If Dell wants to make 100K a year, and he does this every single day, Monday through Friday, just take, you know, 1 or 2 trades with us here during the live session, he'll easily reach his 100K mark because he made about 454. So if we do the math for that, so if he hits 454 a day times 5 days in a week, that's 2,270 a week, right? You multiply that by 4, that's 9,080 a month. You multiply it by 12, that's 108,960 for a year. So if you're consistent every single day, you lock in some pretty solid profits daily, you could easily reach that goal. And this is very possible because you guys can see that I rarely lose here. So as long as you guys are, you know, doing things properly, you're following rules and doing things exactly how we're supposed to do them, you can easily lock in that goal. So, you know, if you guys have any profit goals, it's easy for you to just do the math. If you want to make 100K, just do the math. If you want to make 500K, you know, a year, you divide that by 12, you divide that by 4, you divide that by 5, that's 2,083 a day, which is really not that difficult if you're consistent with your trades here. Let's see, Justin over here, Justin Bugatti, he said got caught in heavy drawdown and got the baby profit out. So he locked in a total of 533 for the day. And you guys have seen Justin here lock in profit too, right? So if Justin here was locking in 533 a day, you know, you do the math for that. 533 a day times 5 times 4 months or 4 weeks times 12 months, that's 127,000 a year easily. And then if you do things properly and you understand, you know, the tax game, you can keep majority of this money here. And that's something that, you know, you can learn along the way. Once you start making more money, you start to understand the tax game more. See Javier over here as well. Javier locked in a total of 247. Nice work, Javier. Javier said couldn't leave today without anything. Exactly. Stern over here, he locked in a total of 1,175 euros. Nice work, Stern. Yeah, so for a total over here for the week, 17,633. Great work, Stern. Nice, nice. Yeah, he's almost at 20K. So he's doing his he's almost there. His goal is to reach 20K. He's hoping to get it by today. So definitely great work there, guys. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else I'm missing. Fahad over here locked in a total of 1,311. Great work, Fahad. Other than that, and this is why I didn't take that 3-minute there, right? It's a risky trade. Reason for it being risky is that the fundamentals are red. I mean, it's slightly in the green, but it's more so red. And then looking over here at retail sentiment is super short right now. So it's just not something that I want to risk, right? I'm happy with my profits for the day. If it does hit TP, which it probably will, that's great, right? Whoever took it, great work. But for me personally, I'm happy with my profits for the day. I don't need to go and take, any more trades. I'm just going to keep, rinse and repeating what I did yesterday, today, and just keep stacking my profits until the end of the week. So other than that, let me see if I missed anything else over here. Abraham said, can the sell on the 10-minute? Here, let me see. There's no sell here that's available on the 10-minute. And this is why I didn't take the 10-minute earlier, right? So if you guys have been following, I mentioned earlier that I wasn't going to take the 10-minute. And the reason for that is because I didn't trust it being a good buy because of how the market was currently moving. So actually I deleted this on accident. Back up there. 3-minute scalp TP. All right, yeah. So whoever took it, I mean, it looks good. I'm not going to take it. I'm for sure not going to take it. I've learned my lesson taking trades too late, close to 8. It just becomes too risky, especially when my analysis doesn't line up the way I want it to. So good luck to whoever's taking it, but I'm not going to take it myself. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, see what else I missed over here. Miles said when he gets back, let's ask him if he feels 10 pounds lighter. Yeah, no, exactly. Miles had the right idea there. Stanley said we're taking the 1 minute. So Stanley, I was away from the computer at that time, so I didn't take that 1 minute there, but a lot of people here did. So I personally did take it. I was away from the computer, but some people here did take it and they locked in some pretty nice profit. Like Fahad here locked in a total of 316 off that 1 minute. Joshua over here, he took those 1 minutes right there, locked in a total of 821. Nice work, Joshua. And his other account, 435. Killing it, bro. All right, guys, great work. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Christopher's asking, do we have the ability to set alerts on the K2 momentum? Yeah, that's exactly what I do right here, Christopher. Just go to your alerts right here. Click this condition button. Mine says K2TS, but yours might say K2 Momentum. Depending on when you join K2, the name just changed to K2 Momentum. It's the same thing though. So if you do that, just click on this here. It'll probably say K2 Momentum for you. And then you can change this right here. So you can see this 1 minute signal. This is a momentum signal. You just go here, change this to signal fired. So you get buy and sell signals. And for me personally, I have it set to once per bar because I want to have an early alert, even if it doesn't close valid. If you wanted to only alert you when it closes, click once per bar close. I personally have once per bar. You can do either one, just depends on how many alerts you want. This is fine because once I go offline, I turn off all of my alerts anyways. So I don't get bothered with alerts going off all day. And again, right here at the message, you can just put like US 30 1 minute momentum signal. And that's how you that's how the alert would come up for you. You hit create and then it'll set it up for you that way. So that's pretty much how you would set it up. I should just change the name here so you guys can understand what each one means. All right, so I set that all up right there. I didn't realize I had this open. All right, yeah, so what did I do? Oops, onto the wrong time frame. Okay, so yeah, I just set up my alerts there. That's pretty much how I've set it up. I have it set to K2TS. Yours probably gonna say K2 momentum, same thing. K2 signal fired, and then you can set it to once per bar close. I have it set to once per bar on my end, and then I have the alert right here set up as well. So that's how you would set it up on your own. Let me see if I missed anything else. Yeah, Andre said, don't forget 30% to FTMO and taxes. No, exactly. That's why, you know, once you start to make more profit, you'll start to, you can just keep making, you know, bigger and bigger lot sizes where you'll make more. So like, even if you were to, so say for example, you were taking like what Justin's profits were 533 for the day. If you made 1,279 or 127,000, you multiply that by 30% or 70% because you're keeping 70%, right? 70%. So your total is going to be 89,554, 89,544. And then on top of that, you'd have to pay, you know, X amount of taxes if you don't understand the tax scheme. Eventually, you'll understand the tax scheme. I gave you guys a tax book in the group as well. So for you guys here who are in the premium, you guys can just search up tax-free wealth. I posted the book here. And then you guys can read this book to help you understand. So just search that up right there. It's this book right here, Tax-Free Wealth. You guys can understand exactly how, you know, the basics of the tax game for you guys to get away with not paying taxes legally. Because like, I mean, it's a fun game. Once you start making more profit and you learn the tax game, it opens up a lot of doors. And I mean, a lot of you guys have seen my car, right? Let me see if I can find it over here. A lot of you guys have seen my car. And then you guys can take a guess how much that helped me with my taxes. So I don't know the pictures of my car, but most of you guys have seen my car. See if I can find it here. Yeah, we got too many photos here. I don't even know where it's at. Yeah, but if you guys have been here for a while, you guys have seen my profit blue Tesla. So you guys will understand, like, you know, that was taken from knowing the tax game. Yeah, I don't have the photo here, but whatever. You guys understand that that's, you know, I know how to know my way around taxes. So, you know, even though I'm making a ton of profit, a lot of that profit is going towards things that have to fall under K2, which would be my profit blue K2 Tesla. So, yeah, I mean, I can show you guys a picture. Let me see if I can find one here. I don't know where it's at. But if you guys have been around for a while, you guys have seen my car. It's not like it's nothing new. I've had that car for a while now. Yeah, I don't have it on my phone, but yeah, if you guys have been around, you guys, or if you guys have followed me on Instagram, you guys have seen my car. I post it all the time. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I missed here. Nico said, you get taxed once you get your FTMO profits. No, you don't. You have to do taxes on your own because FTMO is a company located international. So you'll be doing your taxes on your own. Stanley said, would you have taken it if you were there? No, I wouldn't have, Stanley. So I'm not sure if you like listened to my analysis earlier. The reason why I didn't take it is because the fundamentals are currently the red. So it doesn't fall under the things that I'm looking for here. Because if I'm trading for a buy, I want the fundamentals here to be a buy as well. Right here, it's not a buy, it's red. Looking over here at the index is also majority red. So I'm not trying to trade in the opposite of the fundamentals. The fundamentals are pointing towards the downside. I'm not going to take any buys opposite of it because this could just be a temporary push up and it can come right back down. Yeah, exactly. So Jelon over here said, don't get caught in the real reaction to bad news. No, exactly. And that's why I wouldn't take it as well. Because I do think it's going to come right back down eventually at some point, but it might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow, it might happen eventually because the news here was bad. So what I see happening right here is there might just be some sort of manipulation going on where they're just like slightly pushing it up and then it's just going to dump right back down. So other than that, Quinn said, my bad. What if I accidentally exceed my daily loss? If you exceed your daily loss, then you're done with your account, Quinn. Yeah, you lose a challenge. Yeah, no, definitely. Kyle's a great book, Depreciation, Appreciation, exactly. C6 said SUVs and trucks have highest demand because of taxes. Once you make enough, you'll understand why. Yeah, no, exactly. Christopher said, I have an option on my iPad, not my MacBook. Weird. K2 momentum under conditions. Yeah, it should be K2 momentum on yours. And yeah, exactly, Stanley. Yeah, so like for me, guys, so let me just break down exactly what I look for, right? If I'm looking for a buy here, I want the fundamentals here to be bullish, right? And generally for me to have a bias here on the fundamental side, this needs to be 100 points in the green or 100 points in the red. Right now, it's been right down the middle the entire day. And that's why I don't really have a bias here. You can see price just keeps going back and forth, right? It's like -3, and it goes up to +11. The bias hasn't really been set for the fundamentals. In order for it to be biased one way or the other, you want it to be positive 100 or negative 100. That's going to give you a good understanding as to where price is likely to go for the rest of the day. But today, there just hasn't been very much of a direction. It's kind of just been going back and forth. Other than that, let's see what else I'm missing. Yeah, no, Kyle said getting that Cybertruck. So guys, like, here, I'll just give you guys some game here. So like, you know, what I talked about with my Tesla, and I'll just show you guys, I'll try to find a picture of my Tesla if I could find one here. I know I have a picture here somewhere. So let's see. Just to show you guys. And I'll just airdrop this to myself so that you guys can see exactly what I mean. So like exactly what like Kyle was saying, right? Like once you make a certain amount of money trading, like obviously you guys can see how much I make trading because I trade live with you guys every day. Like let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. All right, there goes my airdrop. Where my airdrop go to? Dude, added. All right, so this is my Tesla here. I have a Tesla Model X. It's wrapped in chrome blue, which is what I call profit blue chrome. And my license plate says K2 Trades, right? So like this is my business vehicle. If you guys have, you know, this car was like all together with all the add-ons and stuff is probably well over 130,000. You guys can do a full write-off off this car if it's a business vehicle used for business purposes. And once you make a certain amount of money, you know, you can just write that off instead of paying taxes. You pretty much get a free car. In a sense, and this is legal. Like, you know, you do this because it's a business vehicle and it's used for business purposes. So, you know, there's a lot of different loopholes that you guys can learn along the way. You know, obviously, when you start making more money, you start looking for more loopholes, and that's something that you can do, right? Because you use Section 179, which is in the tax code, and that's how you can, you know, get cars like this. Like, you know, this car is worth so much, but instead of paying taxes, you basically get a business vehicle. And the same with like Dennis over here. He said full write-off G-Wagon too. So like my next car that I'm looking for is like, you know, you probably see a lot of these other people who drive like Lamborghini Uruses around, right? Those are full write-offs too if you use it for business purposes. Same with the G-Wagon. So those are the two next cars that I'm kind of looking at right now. Because, you know, once you start to make more money, you don't want to pay taxes, right? You want to find ways to not pay taxes. And in order to do that, there's ways around it. So those are the two cars I'm looking at right now. Actually, I'm looking at a G-Wagon. I'm also looking at a Lamborghini Urus. But I also want a McLaren. So we'll see what happens from there once it comes time to it. So other than that, let me see if there's any other questions here before I miss anything over here as well. So Patrick's asking, Shawn, how do you draw a TP stop loss tool on TradingView? So if you want to use that TP stop loss tool, just go over here to this side right here. Patrick, it's going to say prediction and measurement tools. Just click the drop down. It'll have the long position and short positioning tool here. So if you want to do a long position, you click on the chart and you'll have that there. Vice versa, if you want a short position, you click on the short positioning tool, click on the chart, and then you have that there as well. So that's how you would use the tools for the TP stop loss. Other than that, let's see. Jeff said market sentiment is currently 65% short. I thought you said you don't want to trade in the direction of retail traders. You would rather look for buys in this case. The retail sentiment is not that high, Jeff. If you remember correctly, I usually mention when it's 75% short, not 65. So it's only 65% short right now. That doesn't mean there's like a huge majority there. It's actually, it's like so close to the midline that price can easily shift in the other way, and sentiments can easily shift to the buy side. So 65% short is not that bad. If it's like 75%, then that's where it's going to be heavily one-sided. Right now, it's not heavily one-sided. It's going both ways right now. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Nice. Dennis said I got you on debt too. Exactly right. And once you start, so like yeah, I have a lot of goals like for myself. Like I'm trying to buy like an apartment unit, but there's just no good deals right now. So I'm kind of just waiting for a good deal to come up. And there's just a lot of other stuff there. So Andre, if you want to look at that book, it's in all of the premium groups. So if you go over here to the premium chat, just go over here to the search button, type in tax-free wealth, and then you'll see it right there. And then also, if you go down here, nice, Ensong locking some more profit, total of 15,000 for the day. Nice work, Ensong. Damn, bro, killed it, bro. So I think it's also here as well. Tax-free wealth. Yeah. So if you look in either of the groups, it's in both of the groups, Andre. Just go to the K² Premium Chat or K² Premium Trade Talk, and you can find it in either one. Yeah, no problem. Let's see. Other than that there, let me see if I missed anything else over here. Right, Sisu? Yeah, I just saw Sisu's message there. Patrick said, sorry, Shawn, got knocked off. Don't know if you answered my question. Yeah, so if you want to add the long and short tool, Patrick, just go right here to the, on the left side, it says prediction and measurement tools. When you click this drop down, you can check the long or short positioning tool. If you want to mark up a long position, just click on the chart, you'll have it right there. Vice versa for a short position, you do that right there, same thing. And that's how you would get access to the that tool there. Other than that, Dennis said, I know this ain't the right time, but for anyone in debt, I mean, not all debt's the same though, Dennis. So Dennis said, ain't no law say you need to pay debt. You need to pay federal debt. You can't get away from federal debt. Normal debt, yeah, but you also don't want to have that kind of debt because if you file for bankruptcy, it's going to mess up your credit. And I only know this because I'm an attorney, Dennis. So I'm an attorney, so I know this stuff. Other than that, yeah, I know consumer rights, but I'm an attorney, bro. So I know what consumer rights are. I work for a consumer rights firm, and I was on the plaintiff side, so I know exactly what you can sue for, what you can't sue for. So you do have to. Dennis said, Shawn, I promise. You promise, bro, but are you an attorney? Did you study this in law school? Did you actually practice this at a law firm? Probably not, bro. So I'm pretty sure I know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you can show me the law and I can show you the law too, because you don't know how to interpret the law. The way you see it is totally different from what I see it, because I actually know how to read the law. Dennis said, I know the law, it's deep. Bro, it's different from studying on Google and studying like actual law and actually practicing law real life, right? It's totally different. A lot of people think they know the law, but unless you're an actual attorney who's licensed to practice law, I wouldn't necessarily say that you know how to interpret it properly. But other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing over here. Jameson's asking, you may have already answered this. You mentioned you also use 1 hour charts to look for entries. Is there a specific amount of pips you look for the 1 hour entries? So I don't trade off the 1 hour, Jameson. I just use the 1 hour for analysis, just to identify the trend. So like, for example, here, if I'm looking for a sell here on the 10-minute, 3-minute, 1 minute, I'm looking for it to be a sell here on the 1 hour as well, but I'm not looking for actual entries off this. So it's going to be a little different. Other than that, let me see what else I missed over here. CJ said, right, to add on, we hold. I mean, you can do that too, CJ. If you want to trade on the 1 hour, you guys can, but we don't have any specific strategies for US 30 on the 1 hour. The reason for that is because this asset moves so fast and it keeps changing from time to time, right? You don't really want to hold on to it long term. I mean, technically you can, like, for example, here, if you were to hold on to this, you hold on to it for a while, but you get caught in some fake outs too. For example, here, this would have been dropping from this point. And it's totally different, right? You don't want to be risking that much. And that's only from my personal perspective, because US 30 is an expensive asset. If you want to trade long term, you might want to trade something like the S&P. because it's not really worth as much and you can take bigger risks for that specific asset there. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else. Shahed said, hi, started following you over a year ago. Have you stopped trading Forex? Haven't seen you Forex trades in a while. I still get Forex trades, but I don't necessarily trade it myself on the live. A lot of people don't really care for Forex anymore. So I don't necessarily analyze it. It's just, it's a waste of time. During the summer, market's moving slow. Like if you look at the Forex market over here, it hasn't really moved as much. It's kind of just going back and forth. It's not really going, directional. Like for example, here, if you're trading UJ and you're following this for 14 days, right? It doesn't really move that much. Maybe during the fall, I'll start trading it more. But looking at this right here, it's only moved about 85 pips in about 15 days, which is not very much. So I don't really trade this as much. I mean, technically I could trade it, but this specifically right here, this isn't really, you can't really catch as many big moves as we used to. You can see right here, if you go back to like the fall and winter, it starts to move a lot faster, right? Like going over here from like, let's see, from like October or September, right? So like from September, you'll see like the same exact movement, right? So September 10th, see in like 10 days, it moves like 200 pips, right? Again, right here in 15 days, it moves like 200 pips. Compared to like now, it's only moving about 80 pips. It's kind of harder to trade Forex. So, I mean, if you understand how the market moves, it moves in seasons. Right now is not the best time to trade Forex. And that's why we're focused on US 30. But personally, I think I'm going to continue to just focus on US 30 because that's really where the money's at. And it's easier for us to trade when I only trade for about 2 hours a day. So for me personally, I only trade, and yeah, Shahed said, how many hours do you spend on trading a day? I only trade about an hour a day. I trade from 6:30 to 8. Right now I'm already done trading. It's past 8. And I've already made my profits for the day. I made about 4,000 today. So that's all it's really needed. But yeah, I mean, other than that, guys, I think that's it for this here. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Christopher is asking me, Shawn, do you ever use strategy on Bitcoin? I personally don't trade Bitcoin at all. I just buy and hold it, but personally, I haven't been like holding it at all ever since it dropped that last time. So yeah, other than that, Christopher, I don't really trade Bitcoin. I mean, you can trade the strategies if you want. Other people have traded it, but me personally, I don't trade it on Bitcoin. I've seen other people kill it, but for me personally, I just don't. There's too much speculation that's involved with it. Jalon said, Loki, if you buy off the really down day on US 30 and hold it for a week, you would be up heavy, but I never tried it. I mean, that happens a lot of the times because US 30 is generally a directional asset that moves up, but you never really know when it's going to crash down, right? Like the thing is, if you're trading like that, Jalon, you're kind of just, you're trading off luck, right? Your luck can only last so far, right? So like, for example, right here, if you catch this as it keeps dropping and thinking about how far is like, because you said if it drops down heavy, right? Dropping down heavy could mean like a lot of things. So if you like, say, for example, if I just turn everything off here, and then you're here on the US 30 and you're here on the 1 hour, right? A heavy drop could mean a lot of things. Like, for example, if you're looking at this right here, say you're trying to, I'm just going to use this as an example, right? Because a lot of people try to buy the dip, right? And like, for example, right here, this would be considered a heavy drop to you, right? This is a big drop from right here down to here. That's a 5,000 pip drop. Say if you bought right here, if you're doing exactly what you mentioned, if you try to buy right here, and then you think it's going to come back up, right? Because you're trying to buy the dip and you just want to hold it for long term. If you bought it from right there and you held on to it and it keeps dipping, you're going to get fucked so badly because you already lost, like you just would have got burnt right here for another like 200. And then say you buy again right here, right? And you're like, oh, it's going to have to come up at this point. And then you do something again right here and you try to buy from this point and you do the same exact thing again, right? You get fucked again. So like it could work. I mean, it could work, but when it doesn't work, you're gonna get burned like really badly. So I don't really trade like that because I just consider that gambling at that point. You're not really using any strategy. You're kind of just waiting for it to drop and you catch it as it swings up. And then even at this point, this is down like 10,000 pips. And then it just keeps, going down. You really don't know when it's going to come right back up. So it's not something that I would recommend doing. But yeah, like I could see where you're coming from because US 30 is generally a directional asset. You can see from here, it generally it comes back up eventually, right? It comes back up, but it doesn't always come back up. So if you get screwed at some point like this right here, you try to buy here and it just keeps dropping lower and lower, you can blow your account before you even get to that point. So it's not something that I necessarily recommend. Also with US 30, there's always been speculation of the market crashing, which can happen at any moment. So if you're stuck in that trade and the market goes crashing down, you're going to be screwed even harder. So just something to keep in mind. I mean, you can go do what you want to do, but make sure that you actually have some sort of analysis and strategy when doing it, just to be safe. All right, so other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Justin just said 1 minute hit TP. Yeah, so if anyone caught this 1 minute right here, I'm not trading anymore, but if you guys did catch it, this would have hit TP right there. And I'm just responding to Justin in the group. So if you guys are in the Zoom group right here, you guys can see Justin just mentioned that you guys can see this right here. Let's see, Dennis said, Shawn, if you don't mind, I want to show you what I'm talking about. I know I don't know what you know, but I'm positive I know what you may not know about these. All right, Dennis, I don't think you understand the difference between federal debt and personal debt, right? There's two different debts there, Dennis. I don't think you understand what federal debt is. You can't run away from federal debt. So I don't, go ahead and send me what you want to send, but I'm 100% sure that you cannot get rid of federal debt. If you pull out a federal loan, right? Say, for example, you pull out a federal loan, you go to college. If you file for bankruptcy, that debt follows you. You can't just get away from that debt for no reason. If you pull a personal loan from a bank and you file for bankruptcy, you can get rid of that debt. That's what you're talking about, but you don't understand the difference between federal debt and personal debt. So I'm just trying to get this across to you, Dennis. And this is not a law class, but I did go to law school. I'm a licensed attorney. I'm licensed practice law in California. So I do understand the law. But I'm not going to go through that. Like, I'm not going to try to go over that because I actually went to law school. I actually graduated from law school. I'm an attorney. I worked at a big firm. I did consumer law. So I know what I'm talking about, Dennis, but we'll keep that for another day. So other than that, guys, I think I'm done for this, with this for now. And go ahead and do your Google search for that right now, Dennis, if you want to, because I mean, you're just not getting the point that I'm trying to get across to you. Federal debt and personal debt is totally different. So something for you to actually look into. If you want to go look into that, you can look into it. Here, let me see this other question. We got one more question here. Christopher said bullish now. Let me just check real quick the other confirmations. Let me just check this real quick. All right, let me see your question right here. I know you stopped trading, just curious. Here, I'm just gonna show Dennis exactly what I'm talking about right here. So like normally when you file for a bankruptcy right here, you do a chapter 7, chapter 13, right? How can I get rid of federal student loans in chapter 13? Like you can't. Student loans are different. They're different if they're personal, but if you're doing a federal loan, you can't. You have to file a different lawsuit and the federal loans are going to go away. So if you want to go do some research, Dennis, go ahead and do the research yourself. I just want to make clear that you understand what the difference is between federal and personal debt, because I think you're mixing them two right there. But anyways, let me go over here real quick and see what else we're missing. So Christopher just wants to ask if we're going to, if you want to use this right here. Let's see. So it's currently 35 points in the green right here. Looking over here, so fundamentals are pointing towards the upside and also retail sentiment is short. So if you want to trade right now, I mean, you can, Christopher, but I personally wouldn't because you're getting close to, I mean, technically if you want to, you can, but it's getting close to the Asia high right here. So this is something to look out for because if you're trading close to the Asia high right here, price can easily reject right off it. So this can happen right there where it can reject off it. If it closes above it, then yeah, you can probably keep taking trades. but I generally don't recommend trading after 8 o'clock. This is why I stopped trading, because what happens after 8 o'clock is price starts to go sideways. So like, for example, over here, from 8 to 10, this is usually where price starts to consolidate a bit. So even though the bias is bullish, this right here, it'll probably go sideways for a bit. So it might push up a little bit, and then from here, it's just going to go sideways. And then around 10 to noon over here, this is where it might go the other way. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to for sure go the opposite way, but generally from this point, once it reaches 10 to 12, it'll either continue going up or it'll reverse the other way. So this is why I stopped trading at 8 o'clock, because I don't want to get caught in the sideways movement. And then once it reaches, 10 to 12, it'll either continue going up higher or it'll just drop down from here. But you could also get caught in fake outs in that direction. So other than that, guys, I'm gonna call it a day, because I'm done trading for the day, and I don't want to stay on, because if I stay on, I know I'm gonna take some risky trades that I shouldn't be taking. So other than that, guys, if you guys don't have to trade, I recommend just calling it a day. We'll be back tomorrow for the next live session. Keep in mind that tomorrow we do have a lot of news. We have a ton of news tomorrow. We have OPEC all morning. We have ADP non-farm employment change there. We have ISM manufacturing, and then we have Fed member Bostic speaking as well. So other than that, let me see if there's anything else. There's CSUK locked in a total of 6,445. Where it works CSUK. On his other account, he locked in 2,306. So if you guys have profit that you guys want to send over, go ahead and send them over, and then I will add them to the list. Nice. Surin over here. So you guys saw me earlier. Surin had about 17,000. Now he's up 20,000 for the day. So here about an hour ago, Surin said, almost at 20K, he'll get it by today, and he actually hit it. So big congrats to Surin over here. He reached his goal of 20,000. He also mentioned that there in the UK, they have a 20% yearly write-off, 5-year lease form, while proving your driving miles are business related. No, exactly, Surin. Yeah, so you guys have similar tax laws over there as well in the in the UK and whatnot, other places in the world. Jeff over here as well. Jeff locked in a total of 1,382. Nice work, Jeff. Other than that, I think that's about it. I don't see anything else over here for you guys. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out on Telegram or email. I know some of you guys did send me emails over the weekend. I still have currently about 800 emails to get through today. So, we might not be able to, I might not be able to get to you guys right away, but if you guys do send me an email, go ahead and give me at least 24 to 48 hours to respond to you. And then we can go over that. So guys, have a great rest of your morning. If you guys don't have to trade, like I mentioned, don't trade. You can see right here, the same thing that I marked up, right? I said when price reaches the Asia high right here, it's probably going to bounce off. And look what happened. It bounced right off it. So just keep in mind, it's a risky time to trade right now. So if you don't have to trade, I would just call it a day. Otherwise, if you guys have questions, reach out to me on Telegram, and I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow morning. So have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, that's it. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to, I'm going to copy your message, Dennis, over here, because Dennis left like a paragraph. Let me just read that real quick. But I'm not going to read it on here because this isn't a law webinar. This is a trading webinar. So I'll read that, Dennis, and then, if I have anything to follow up on it, I'll follow up with you. But I'm pretty sure I know how it's going there. So guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.